What's good, powerful spiritual species, you powerful spiritual beings? Welcome to another spiritual awakening with yours truly, A.G. Green Sr. You know what to do. Come on into this digital assembly. Tag and share and tag. Tag and share and tag. Tag and share and tag. Again, welcome to another installment of Spiritual Awakening with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. I'm so glad to be on with you, whether it's live or in replay. It is always the honor of my life, one of the honors, I should say, of my life, to connect with you in this particular space. Tag and share and tag and share and tag. Almighty, we are grateful for this opportunity. We are all connected intricately yet simplistically. Speak, and we will hear, and as we are receptive, we will apply. We thank you for activating and energizing and empowering us. And we bless you by Yeshua's name, his way, his power, his consciousness. It is so, and so it is. Oh, I am excited and delighted to be with you all on today. Tag and share and tag and share and tag. You are currently tuned into Spiritual Awakening with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. Come on in, invite somebody to the party. Let's have a good time tonight. I got something special lined up for you. Let's have a good time tonight, today, or whatever time you're watching me from your geography, from your place, your position in the world. I am excited to be with you. We're going to do a check-in here in a minute. Sipping on my coffee, talking to y'all. Yes, ma'am. Miss Hillary C. Yes, ma'am. So glad to see you. Come on, speak as you come in, whether on Facebook or YouTube, speak as you come in. And don't forget again to tag and share. Give as many likes and hearts as you can, especially on Facebook. I like to remind you that you are the offspring of a powerful, all-powerful spiritual being, a creator, we believe, of all existence, that which is eternal and that which we call temporal. And therefore, you are not powerless, you are powerful. So I want you to quickly type in the comment section, I am powerful. Come on, type in the comment section, I am powerful. It's according to the power that worketh in us, according to Ephesians 3:20. You and I are powerful. It's time to own the power. It's time to know the power. It's time to recognize the power. It's time to be unashamed of who and what you are. That's it. Type it in the comment section and speak it out of your mouth. Declare it into the atmosphere that you live in. Impact the atmosphere of your life by declaring and decreeing, I am powerful. Come on, that's it. Type it in the comment section and speak it out loud. I am powerful. Come on, say it with me. I am powerful. Say it one more again. I am powerful. Listen, you are a powerful spiritual species created in the image and the likeness of an almighty creator. Paul says we are his offspring. Therefore, you are not a powerless being. You are powerful. And let me say this at this juncture. If you're still struggling with if you are taking something away from your creator by saying that you're powerful, that means you're ashamed of being who the creator has created you to be. That means the power is not going to flow as freely and effortlessly from you because you are ashamed to be and to own and to accept who and what you are created to be. Let that rest on your heart, my beloved. Let that rest on your heart. Let's do a check-in real quickly. Let's do a check-in. I know it's midweek. Some folk call it hump day, but I'm checking in with you. I want you to tell me what's good. Tell me about your week. What's good? Tell me about your week real quickly. What's good? What's good? Tell me about your week. What's good? Tell me, and of course, this wonderful audience, about your week. I want to know how your week is going thus far. Talk back to me. How's your week going? I want you to know that there is no judgment in how you judge your own self. This is all highly subjective. So, however you tell us your week is going, we're going to just accept it and always be encouraging. I just want to know how you're doing, how you're feeling, how have things been, transpiring in your personal life. Let's see. Somebody talk to me. Thank you so much, Jessica. Good to see you. Appreciate your kind words. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, how is your week going thus far? How is your week going thus far? Tell me real quickly, and then I'm going to move into the next segment. I'm going to do something a little different tonight. Do something a little different tonight. But how is your week going thus far? Talk back to me. How is your week going thus far? Okay, we've got Pastor Therapist Cotton. Jerry Cotton says, I've been producing fruit and prosperous in everything I'm doing. Wonderful. Let's see here. Hillary C says, this week is 100% better than last week. I've manifested some amazing opportunities and answered prayers from the Almighty. Love it. Love it. That's good stuff. Stephanie says, good week, blessed and able to pray for others, has shifted focus off my own issues. Ooh, wonderful. Wonderful. That's good. And Krista says, this week has been busy, going fast, overall good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. See? Thank you. That is good. It warms my heart. It warms my heart that you responded, and it causes it to grow even warmer, that you are overcoming some things, mastering some things, focusing on some things, dealing with some situations from a place of strength and power and optimism. And so I thank you so much for sharing how your week, from your opinion, is going thus far. Now, I think I finished up what are you/I doing last week. And it's not that I couldn't continue to talk from verse 3, because I kind of feel like I left a few things on the table as it relates to prosper. But I want to kind of do something different tonight. And I want to do a Q&A with you. And these are is it all right if I do a Q&A with you? I want to address your personal challenges. I want to directly guide you in your personal challenges tonight. So what do you think, number one, about a Q&A with me tonight, about maybe some questions you have about what you're dealing with in life, your circumstances, your situations? What about that? Let's see. I got one. Yes, sir. These are YouTube people. Anybody else? I'm not necessarily trying to do any examinations or exegesis or answer questions about the scripture or text. I kind of want to uh, have you, as you are comfortable, ask a question. It could be about, thank you. Thank you for all the positive responses. It could be about your spiritual life. It could be about your love life. It could be about thinking, positive, negative thinking, trauma, dysfunction, finances, politics, family. Is there something on your mind? Is there something on your mind that kind of been rolling around in your heart? Matter of fact, let me do this. Let's do it like this. This might be better. Might be better stated like this if we just title it "What's on Your Mind." What's on your mind? Maybe we can title it like that. What's on your mind? Thank you for affirming this particular segment. What's on your mind? So whether it's limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts, questions about God, questions about yourself, how to get over some things, how to get through some things, how to deal with situations and circumstances, whatever it is. Uh, I want to address those because I don't always get a chance. Most of the time, 99% of the time, I come on, I check on you, and then I, teach, make announcements, whatever I do. But tonight, I just want to do something a little bit different. Let me first load up my shameless plug about my latest book. Let's see, that's the wrong display. And then I'm going to begin to address your questions. Matter of fact, let me get rid of that because I changed the address. All right, let me get back to where I was before. What's on your mind? Everybody typing in the comment section, what's on your mind? Type that real quickly in the comment section. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Let's see. And I need to change something here. Thank you. What's on your mind? Then I'm going to put the new address up to my spiritual shop where you can get the book. I'm going to put that up real quickly. I'll put it up again. This is where, good to see you, Tanya. Good to see you, Miss Betty. Let's see. Hey, who is Pape Bovey? Hey, Mr. Green. He's appreciate you. Good to see you. Let me put it up. Oh, from the Netherlands. Okay, Poppy is from the Netherlands. All right. Excellent. Excellent. You can get that book, payhip.com/divine species shop. And I'm getting ready to get a custom URL for the shop. But in the meantime, not just the book there, but there's blessed oil. There's other things on this particular website that you can purchase. And I'm going to expand this shop. It's really kind of newly created and offer some other powerful spiritual tools and things like that on that shop. Yeah, let's greet Poppy Bovey. You might be the first person I've had on here from the Netherlands. I've had Africa, let's see, Jamaica, Australia. I've had different countries. I'm not sure anybody ever from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for stopping by. Come on, let's greet Poppy Bovey. He's on YouTube, or he or she. I'm not sure the gender, but on YouTube, they're showing you love here. Poppy, they're showing you love here. They're showing you love here. They're greeting you. Thank you so much for letting us know. So what's on your mind? Real quickly, who's got a question? Maybe something, again, that you're dealing with personally or whatever that you are challenged with or you want answers about or you want some guidance, some instructions. Poppy says, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Talk to me real quickly and tell me if you have a question or what's on your mind that you would like for me to address tonight. Don't everybody jump in at one time. Don't be embarrassed. This is family. You only share what you feel comfortable with sharing. You only share what you feel comfortable with sharing. We're not trying to, probe into anybody's personal life or anything like that. All right. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? I know you got questions. If you're like me, you always have questions. So, don't be ashamed. And I say to people, I'm going to continue to say it, there is never a dumb question. There aren't any dumb questions. There's no such thing as a dumb or stupid question. Okay. There's no such thing as a dumb or stupid question. Listen, look at Poppy coming out blazing, coming out blazing. Do you think, Mr. Green, we live in a simulation? Let me go back and put that question up. The question is, do you think, Mr. Green, we live in a simulation? I love that question. See, these are not questions that nobody's going to ask in a religious circle. Nobody's going to ask in anybody's church. Thank you. That is an awesome, awesome question. Let me say this, Poppy, and I don't want to blow the wigs of traditional Christian viewers, but I'm going to say this. It is very possible that we are living in a simulation. It is very possible that we are living in a simulation, a matrix type situation. For example, we've got all kinds of texts out here, all kinds of texts. I don't even want to start naming them. Book of the Dead, Enuma Elish, ancient Sumerian tablets, of course, biblical texts. We got all kinds of texts. And many of these texts, in their own way, are reflecting a reality, an inferior reality, that which we would call the physical, the three-dimensional realm, as something that is a lower level type of existence. So there's like a super reality, a prime reality, as some would call it. And from that prime reality, there is a lower level of creation from that reality. And I can tell you all kinds of theories about how it is believed that souls come into this simulation matrix type existence for a purpose, to live, to exist, and to be. Everybody would not understand that conversation and everybody would not appreciate it. But the earth, for example, is an inferior version of a reality that's greater than that. In biblical texts, the earth would be considered an inferior version of the super spiritual reality that some people believe is heaven, in another dimension. Other books call it something differently, but it's as if a creator or master creators have created inferior races. But when I say inferior, I shouldn't say inferior. Spiritual beings who possess avatar bodies and are inserted into a physical construct. And when they die, in all these different religions, they leave the physical construct, the avatar body, the physical plane, the physical dimension, and somehow return to their native existence, which again, some call it the spiritual, the astral plane. There are different names that are given for these realms. What Buddhism and Hinduism calls it is different than what Christianity and Judaism and Islam might call it, along with other religions and other metaphysical teachings. So I say to you that this existence is like an echo of a higher form of reality, a higher dimension and a higher plane that exists someplace else. And last but not least, all of these let me say this, all of these religious systems believe that we are multidimensional within ourselves. So Christianity, many would say you're a spirit who possesses a soul and live in a body. Then there are other religions who talk about a duality, meaning that you're either spirit or soul, which they believe are the immaterial portions of your being, and then your physical body. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because all of these religions pretty much unanimously believe that the spiritual immaterial you that actually exists in another dimension controls what happens in the physical three-dimensional plane. So it's like the true self and the true reality is not trapped or encapsulated in time, not trapped or encapsulated in physicality, but actually rules over this place. So all of the major decisions, the major creation, and the major manifestation comes from that dimension into the brain and then emanates from the brain or the physical part of our being into the physical construct. All right. So yes, I say to you, and I'm glad you brought that up, Poppy, because I would love to, for inquiring minds, talk a little bit more about the simulation. I just know that there aren't a lot of people who are familiar with that and how it actually is in alignment with some things we've already seen and already heard. It's just not called that, it's called something else. All right. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to be able to address that. Ooh, here's another good one. Vanessa Garcia. Thank you. Here's another good one. The Mandela effect. Listen, I do believe that the Mandela effect is real, just like I believe in the potentiality of a simulation, a matrix type thing. I do believe the Mandela effect is real. Now, this is what I want to say, and this is what I try and tell the people I'm teaching in a delicate way. Most people think, for example, that there is only one them, number one. Number two, most people think that reality creation is a product of the creator, the source, whom we call God, the Almighty, Yahweh, has multiplicity of names. I believe that the God who created us as a species with similarities, qualities, just as the creator. And we are creators and powerful manifestors who are creating and manifesting our reality. I'm going to get to the Mandela effect in a minute. So what we don't realize is that most of the time, all the time, we are creating something. Just like right now, what you're thinking is creating something. Okay. What you're thinking is creating something. I'm going to say it again. And that thinking is based on what you believe. It is producing a reality. Biblical text, according to your faith, so be it unto you. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believe. Ancient Hermetic principles, as above, so below. So that means the higher dimensional planes of ourselves are producing realities in the physical every minute, all day long, all the time. So as it relates to the Mandela effect, we should understand, even from quantum physics and quantum mechanics and metaphysical teachings, it has been believed for a long time that there are multiple versions of realities, which means that there are also multiple universes. And within the plane of these multiple versions of realities are multiple identities of us that exist on multiple planes of existence. So as it relates to our ability to self-create, our ability to manifest things, our ability to create a reality, the Mandela effect is in a sense tapping into that, because there are certain things that are moving and shifting in our reality all the time, all right, that we think is solid. First of all, reality is not solidity like you think it is, okay? Reality is not solidity like we think it is. It is changing at every moment of time. So it's just like the reality that you are experiencing now is shifting while I'm talking. And it's going to shift based on what you think, what you imagine, what you believe. Your reality is going to shift from that. So, for example, if you are without transportation now and you grab a hold of some faith and you believe in your God and believe in the power that you possess, and you start persisting in a faith to create a reality that you have transportation, guess what? What you see right now that appears to be solid and unchangeable is going to change because that vehicle is going to materialize in your reality from this point forward. That means that has shifted. So, as it relates to the Mandela effect, and it's based on a phenomenon where many millions of people around the world years ago believed that Mandela was dead. And they believed to the point that millions of people said they saw it on the news in the 60s. They said they read it in their newspapers. That's what the Mandela effect is about. And so, as a result of that, in South Africa, the authorities are saying, well, that was never reported, that was never stated. But you got millions of people around the world and in that country that are saying, no, we saw it. So as a result of that, they coined the phrase the Mandela effect because there was a reality in the minds of people that saw a news report, all right, and swear that it was reported in newspaper and on television that he died. So you got to ask yourself the question, were those people delusional or were they living in a reality where they actually saw it happen, where they actually witnessed or observed what they say they witnessed or observed? So can I ask y'all a question? I'm going to ask you a question. This is on the lines of the Mandela effect. I love these questions. These are good questions. Can I ask y'all a question? Yes or no? This is on this topic. This is a wonderful question that you just asked. A wonderful question, Vanessa. Can I ask y'all a question? Can I ask y'all a question? Can I ask y'all a question? Yes or no? Can I ask y'all a question? I got a yes. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever put your keys or an object or something you know in one place? You know you put it there. And when you went back, you didn't see it there anymore. You're in a house, say you're in a house by yourself, a room by yourself, nobody entered in or out of that place. You put your keys, your shoes, or whatever someplace, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, you put it in that place. And you looked over and over and over and over again and could not find it. Has that ever happened? And hours later, with some people, days later, you came back. Number one, it was in that same place. Or number two, it just seemed like it popped up from a place that you had already looked before. Has that ever happened to you? Has that ever happened to you? Okay, here we go. I got some yeses. I got 3 yeses. Yes, 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 sir. Anybody else? Has that ever happened to you? Well, you lost something. You know where you put it. And when you came back hours later, days later, it was either there or it was in a place that you had already looked after you lost it before. It just like it just okay. That is also a theory, Vanessa, based on the Mandela effect. So the question is it possible? Is it possible that you shifted reality? Is it possible that your reality shifted? Is it possible that your keys shifted to another reality where you put it in one reality, but in essence, it disappeared from where you were you shifted to another reality where it was not there. You say, okay, what kind of sense does that make? What you don't understand is that with the shifting of a thought and the making of a decision, you are shifting in and out of different states of reality, different states of consciousness all the time. You just don't know that it is defined as that. You just don't know to call it that. But that's happening all the time. All right. For example, I know an example that just happened recently where there was a public gathering and this woman came into the church who was a young lady. Okay. And when she came in, they looked at her and she was fully grown. So we're talking about somebody that's like 18, 19, 20. But when she came that day, she looked like she was in her late 20s, early 30s, fully grown, fully mature. And people are looking at her and say, "What happened? What happened?" And she's looking like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? What? I'm just me. I'm just me." Well, multiple people in the service that day, in the gathering that day, saw her looking like a different person. And before she left the church, she had reverted back to the state that they knew her to be. What do you call that? Is it possible that she shifted and phased in and out of reality? All right. Now, let me say this. Let me give you some Bible on this. I've shared this with a couple of people. One of the first times I ran across this was in a book I used in seminary several years ago. And then God began to reveal more information to me concerning states of awareness, states of consciousness, and multiple versions of reality. And I've shared this with my audience before. David went to Ziklag. How many of y'all remember me giving you that illustration where David went to Ziklag and he sought the Almighty as to whether King Saul was coming to Ziklag or not. And he asked him a question. He says, "Is Saul coming to Ziklag?" The Almighty says, "Yes." Then he said, if I'm here in Ziklag when the Almighty arrives, will I be captured? And the Almighty said, "Yes." David didn't ask any more questions. He left. All right. Later on in like that same chapter, or no, it's the next chapter, the scripture says, and Saul heard that David had left Ziklag and he did not go to Ziklag. I'm paraphrasing it. Now I'm asking you the question from your conceptualization of what you believe and who God to be. Did the Almighty lie about David getting caught at Ziklag? Number one, David's question to the Almighty was the Almighty answering for multiple access, or access to multiple dimensions, knowledge of access to multiple dimensions, because he saw a reality where David stayed and Saul showed up and captured David. But then we see in the following chapter where they come back and say, well, Saul never went. Now, so the question is, when David asked him, "Is Saul coming to Ziklag?" was God lying? No, God wasn't lying, because God saw a version. I know this might be too deep for some of y'all. A version where he actually traveled to Ziklag. But he also saw a version where Saul did not travel to Ziklag. And then, therefore, subsequently, watch this. You notice David didn't ask if he should stay. David just left. That meant David chose, hear me, to create a timeline where he does not get captured, where he does not stay and he does not get captured. And what I'm saying to you is that we do this every day. We are shifting our realities based on the choices and the decisions we make. And so what I want you to hear is this. There's just say there are three options in front of you: go left, go straight, and go right. Do you realize there's a version of you, this you might have went right, but there's a version of you that went straight, and there's a version of you that went left. Hear me. Those versions of you still exist. They just don't exist in your consciousness. So the decision you made to go right, there's a version of you that made a decision to go straight, and there's another version of you that made a decision to go left. You don't know what that version of you encountered that decided to go straight and left. You only know what the conscious version of you decided to go right. Did I just make any sense to anybody there? See, y'all got me all hyped and excited about that. Ooh, Vanessa, I love them kind of questions. I love them kind of questions. I love them. So I do believe the Mandela effect is real. And we see it in our world today. I was just having this discussion with somebody about a logo. Let me see, which company was it that I was talking about? This just happened in the last 2 months. I saw a news headline about it, and there was a particular logo that everybody, that's what it was. It had something to do with Disney's logo. Which one was it? Was it the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever? Anybody see that? It was an article online, and the masses are holding to the fact that no, this logo looked like this since the 50s and the 60s or whenever it was created. And the parent company is saying, no, it never looked like that. Well, when I saw the logo in the article, this has been within the last 2 to 3 months, I said, I was siding with the general public that said, no, this logo looked exactly like this. The company is saying, no, it never looked like that. So the question is, number one, who's lying? Nobody's lying. Is it possible that we have seen multiple different logos from multiple different dimensions phasing in and out, and we didn't know it was phasing in and out? We didn't know we were phasing in and out of dimensions, seeing one logo for X amount of years, but then it shifted where the logo was different in another dimension and phased into ours. I'm just saying, I know this might be too way out there for somebody else. Let me see who else got a question. Thank you so much for asking that. Thank you so much for asking that, Vanessa. Let's see here. Who else had a question? Somebody else had a question up here. Keep your questions coming. Let's see where we at. I thought I saw another question in here. Keep putting your questions up. Let me see here. I thought I saw somebody. Did somebody else put a question or a concern up here earlier that I may have missed? Talk to me. Did somebody? Let's see. Okay, here we go right here. I've been expecting from God in this season. Recently, I had some encounters with animals, an owl and a fox. Does the divine speak, give us messages through animals? I absolutely positively believe that. Now we see, one depiction in scripture where that jackass, the ass, that spoke. But I want people to understand, this is what I want you to understand. Everything is energy. I want you to type it in the comment section. Everything is energy. Type in the comment section. Everything is energy. Type that in the comment section. Everything is energy. Type that in the comment section. That's the first thing. The second thing I want you to type in the comment section is everything is conscious. Type that in the comment section. Everything is conscious. Now, this has long been proven scientifically that you and I are made up of trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms that are vibrating at such a speed that we look solid. Trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms. But when you break it down to the atomic level, protons, electrons, and neutrons. This is what an atom is: protons, electrons, and neutrons. And every cell contains protons, electrons, and neutrons. The fundamental building blocks of matter is reduced down to atoms. So we are energy. Spiritual beings are energy beings. And even the physical side of us can be reduced down to energy. And you notice that the building blocks, the fundamental building blocks, not just talking about spiritually, but biologically, everything is moving. So your cells are moving. What your cells are made of, which ultimately is atoms, are moving at a pace beyond the scope of the eye, the natural eye. Okay. Money is energy. The devices that you're looking on are energetic devices made up again of trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms. You see a solid form, but if you can analyze the material that the object is made of down to the microscopic level, you would see atoms, and you would see trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of these atoms. All right. So the first thing I want you to recognize is their energy. The second thing I said, conscious. Everything is conscious. Now, that's not pantheism. Okay. But at the same time, I would have a discussion with you later about pantheism. What I want to say about everything is conscious is this is proven in quantum physics when they did the double slit experiment. And I've shared with you about the double slit experiment before. Google it, double slit experiment. Scientists who did that experiment, I don't know how long ago it's been now, 30, 40 years ago. From that experiment, they determined that atoms have consciousness because they are observing atoms with a special scope. All right. And we're talking about light waves and particles now. And I want to get into the science of it because it might bore some of you all. Let's just say they expected a light wave, a photon to act a certain way, but when it was being observed, it acted a different way. And the what they considered to be observed was they introduced an instrument to analyze it on a microscopic level. And it's as if the atoms knew they were being watched and they did something differently that is outside of what they consider to be a law or principle. Just Google double slit experiment. From this, not spiritual people, not metaphysical people, not religious people, scientific people said, oh, a decision like that, a decision can only be made to change the behavior if there is some level of consciousness that exists. Okay. So what am I saying to you? Animals have sentience and they have intelligence. Number one, animals were created by a creator and they are subject to the power and the authority of the creator itself. And yes, the Almighty God can use animals to speak a message to you. But on top of that, I'm going to take it a little deeper. Animals they're not as evolved intellectually as we are. They're not as evolved linguistically as we are, but yet they are an intelligent, conscious species. And they relate to us as a part of the created order of all things in a way that's unique to them. But if you understand how to communicate, and if you understand when you're being communicated to, then a message can and will at any time be transmitted through them. So they can be used as instruments by the hand of the Almighty God, all right? Or they themselves, for example, dogs are incredibly intelligent, incredibly empathetic, incredibly emotionally connected to the people that they love, to the people whose environment that they are a part of. Incredibly connected. Cats, people who dibble and dabble in witchcraft would tell you that animals are very sensitive to the spirit dimension, very sensitive to the spiritual realm. Cats have been used for many, many years in witchcraft because of their capacity for spirituality. I know this might be way out there for some people, but just do some reading and research on your own and you'll run into some of the same things I have. So yes, last but not least, people dogged the Native Indians here for years because they believed that everything had a spirit, everything had a soul. Ultimately, they said everything was conscious. Quantum physics in the last 40 to 50 years has proven what they've been trying to teach us for generations. That's why they respected nature. That's why they respected the animal kingdom. That's why they respected the plant kingdom, because they believed it was conscious, it had a spirit, and it had a soul. So I said all that to say, yes, messages can be communicated to us through animals. Okay, let's see what Pastor Therapist Cotton said. That was his question. He said, yes, sir, I received a message from the divine. I knew in my spirit what was being spoken to me. There it is. There it is. There it is. And I would say, yes, probably, Vanessa, in some ways. Now their capacity, their brain capacity is not like ours. But yes, in some ways, I think because they don't get caught up in the paralysis of analysis, because they don't get caught up in some of the intellectual fog we do, they are more in touch, I think, at times with with an emotional intelligence, sometimes that human beings don't have, because our power of reasoning, deductive and inductive, sometimes bogs us down from being able to connect emotionally. Animals don't have all that. They just know what they feel in the moment. Just like animals are very discerning to know if a person is good, what we say good or bad, or if a person is good for you or not good for you. And it's because, again, they don't get bogged down in some of our complex reasoning abilities. They can just feel within their being that something is off or something not right, and they're going to react in such a way. So I would agree with that in some respect, Vanessa. Y'all got some great questions. Great questions. Anybody else? Let's see. We got a few more minutes here. We got a few more minutes. I just wanted to do a Q&A tonight instead of teaching. Are y'all enjoying this thus far? Talk to me. Talk to me. Are you enjoying this? Is this too far out for some of y'all? Are y'all enjoying this? I mean, y'all came, good gracious, y'all came straight at a brother tonight with some good questions. Anybody else? Personal questions about yourself, things you're processing, things you're trying to work through, some trauma, whatever it is. You see, we've had some awesome questions thus far tonight. You've asked some deep, probing, metaphysical questions. Deep, probing, metaphysical questions. All right, existential questions. Anybody else? Anybody else? Whatever your question is. Whatever your question is. Anybody else have any questions? Any more personal questions? Anything you want help with, some thought processes, some limiting beliefs, or some things that relate to your faith, or anything like that? Any questions like that? You're welcome to share these questions. You're welcome to share these questions. Okay, so here we go. We got another one here. Now, this is my niece. She knows she's throwing out. She knows she's pitching curveballs on purpose tonight. So let me say this. Let me say this. She asked the question. And then I'm gonna get to Linda's question, and then that might be our last question tonight, unless somebody else has a burning question they want to get off their chest. The contract, do we sign a contract before we come to earth? Now, first of all, this is not anything that's taught in Christianity, but y'all know me. Spirituality is not monopolized. Even if I agree with one more than the other, it is not monopolized. But we do have knowledge, even in scripture, that we have prescience, or we have foreknowledge in our native state, our native existence, which we know is spiritual, is energy, before we enter into this physical avatar body. Before you were formed in the belly, I knew the KNEW is an intimate sexual idiom that pretty much infers deep, thorough knowledge of someone who exists before they came in the body. This is what I tell people. I believe an almighty creator created us, the almighty. We call him Yahweh. He's got various different names. I believe that the very moment that the creator thought of you, you existed. You may have existed as a mind form, as mental energy within the mind of the creator, but you existed. How could you not exist if something all powerful thinks your name, thinks of you as a being? You automatically exist. So it is believed by some other religions that you have knowledge like Christianity. There are mystics within Christianity who believe in our precognizance and pre-awareness before we come into this dimension, and that we choose to come here, and that we have questions as it relates to the Almighty about what our assignment would be when we come here. And there are some people in other religions who believe that we do sign a soul contract to come here. I can't definitively say that, but I will say this. I honestly do think that we know where we're coming, and we have made choice to come here before we came here. Yeshua is not the only one who came here knowing in a pre-science, precognitively, that he was coming into the earth, coming into the planet. All right. I could give you some other scriptural references, but I don't want to spend too much time on that tonight. So I can't say about the soul contract, but I do think we have knowledge in that state of being that we're in before we come here, that we are coming here. Last but not least, have you ever noticed how spiritual children are? This is what I say about the spirituality of children. You have young children and they can see stuff in the room you can't see. I've got relatives who could see spirits, what we call spirits, or whether they're extra dimensional beings, whatever you want to call them. They saw something that was not in the physical. I honestly believe that we unlearn when we come here. We unlearn who and what we are and who and what we were in a previous iteration before we come here. But after we get here, we're more in touch with the previous dimension we existed in than we are in this dimension at a young age. And I honestly believe it's why many kids are still in that state, fresh from that place into this place where they are plugged in and connected, hear me, without the resistance of the physical, without the resistance of inductive and deductive reasoning, without the resistance of what we call empirical physical data to talk them out of the reality they came from. And the older we get, the more they tell us reality is based on solidity, it's based on physicality. You know, we say stuff like, I'll believe it when I see it. See, that's you saying that reality is only based on the physical, not based on anything above it or outside of it. I believe when we come here, when we step from that dimension into this one, as babies, as embryos, and then infants, that we are still more heavily connected to that realm than we are this one. And then we have to matriculate through life and evolve to a state where we reconnect with that and start recognizing that that is a superior super reality that is even more real than this construct and what could be very possibly be a matrix and a profound simulation. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Well, as far as your question about feeling like a rock, Linda, there are a myriad of reasons why you could be feeling like a rock when you're worshiping. Some of it might have to do with what's on your mind. Some of it might have to do with what you've been dealing with throughout the course of the day. It might have to do with how you're feeling about life, how you're feeling about your situations, how you're feeling about your circumstances. I'm going to put that in category one. The second thing is your physiology could be off. And what do I mean by that? If you have a hormonal shift, if you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, that can alter your mood, alter your state of being, alter your consciousness where you don't feel as connected to the spiritual, you don't feel as connected to the divine, you don't feel as motivated. Okay, so all these things impact our mindset, our brain physiology, and our ability to cooperate or not cooperate, and our ability to feel connected and not connected to God, to the creator, to the source. All these things factor in when you are trying to connect in worship, even connect through meditative experience or meditation experiences, even connecting through singing or other spiritual practices that you have. Never underestimate the power of your physiology, the power of your biology to interfere with your experience. Last but not least, as I had shared with you before, this has been scientifically proven that when people worship, there is that serotonin and dopamine is released in your brain. All right. So people don't understand that it is an experience that is not just purely spiritual, it is just as much physical as it is spiritual. And then, thirdly, DMT is also a chemical that's released in our brain that has everything to do with the ecstatic, transcendent interpretations that we call experiences that we have when we worship. So, as far as it feeling like a rock part, it could have something to do with that. I just encourage you to move beyond that, to focus on the divine, to focus on God, to focus on expressing yourself, to focus on opening yourself up more to God for that experience. And eventually, if you stay focused long enough, that real you, which is spiritual, that is connected to the Almighty, which is in you. It's not in heaven, it's not in some other place, it's in you. God is in you. God is already a part of you. And when you open yourself up to press and move beyond feeling like a rock, then that real you, which is spiritual, will now start overriding the physiological, biological you. It will come into alignment, synergy with that, and you'll find those feelings moving. But moving the feeling of a rock, the sensation of a rock, you'll find that interpretation of your experience start to wane, because now you have taken over from your spiritual self, your higher self. Some folks call it your God self, would totally have taken over. So a lot of times we don't persist long enough in that to cause the spiritual mind to take over the natural mind, to cause the spiritual self to take over the natural self. We just kind of go with the flow that we don't feel so good. We don't feel like it. We don't want to. And we allow sometimes thoughts to block us, inhibit us, bog us down. When if you just through prayer, through meditation, even through songs at times, just focus on God. Focus on opening yourself up and connecting more to God and that experience, then you'll begin to see that these physical feelings will have to yield to the spiritual expression and the spiritual activity in the moment. All right. Did that help you any, Linda? Did that help you any? Thank you, Vanessa. She says, because we are what's in us, and that's God. That's why we have gifts. Wonderful, wonderful. Did that help you any, Linda? Talk back to me. Did that help you any? Is Linda still on here? All right. I think I got time. We'll see. I'm pretty much out of time. Anybody else got one more good question for me? And then we're gonna log off tonight. I thank y'all so much for sharing these questions tonight, and I hope that somebody has benefited. There are a lot of other subjects. Okay, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. There are a lot of other subjects that I would like to deal with in the future. And some of this stuff is not for public consumption because folk will think you're crazy. They'll think you're off. And you just need to read. You just need to study. You just, spend time with God, do research, do study. You're going to encounter a lot of things that you may not have been conditioned to believe in your youth, but you'll find out is an actual reality and actual experiences that people are having in the world. Aliens is a whole nother subject that the average person ain't even ready to discuss. Okay, let's see here. Yes, I absolutely do believe in second marriages. I absolutely do believe in second marriages. And even from a traditional uh, uh, Christocentric perspective, a hard-line conservative interpretation of text, where they believe a second marriage is a sin that's not within the confines of certain guidelines, it's not unpardonable, even if it was that. It's not unpardonable. And I just think that um, without angering too many people, that you have had sectors of scholars and sectors of groups within Christianity, what we don't know, who influence, number one, the interpretation of scripture and the interpretation of text. And it's always going to be bent to their belief system. So we got a group out there that wants to interpret it as only one. You can only do two or more under certain circumstances. Then they take what Yeshua said, and then they take what Paul said, and then they try and pull out a text from the Old Testament, which is totally irrelevant for New Testament experiences, but I don't even want to get into that. And then they create a doctrine around it. Okay, so now you got people who are miserable. Do you realize? Watch this. Do you realize that there are women? Lord have mercy. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there are women who are being beaten and abused in relationships right now. I saw it growing up, who will not leave or divorce that man because they feel like if he does not cheated on them, they cannot remarry. Do you honestly feel an almighty loving creator would limit somebody from moving on and having a happier life with somebody who loves them, but would say, no, you got to stay, and if you leave, you can never remarry because you made a mistake? The same God that offers you grace and unlimited love. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Lord have mercy. Did I make any sense to you, Betty? I could go on and on. I could quote a couple of scriptures. I could bring up these several different schools of thoughts, so forth and so on. And I'm going to tell you on something. The only doctrine in biblical text to me that makes sense other than love is grace. Because of all these jokers around here who are parading and acting like they perfect and living every word, every iota, every jot, every tittle of the text, they're lying to you. There's not one who's living it. And even the ones, watch this, who have not stepped out physically have stepped out emotionally or stepped out mentally or psychologically. They've done stuff, that they've done things in their heart. And remember, just because it's in your heart and nobody else can see it, according to one text, if I look on that woman, I've already done it with her. There are people who are not just looking, there are people who are committing crimes in their heart, according to how I interpret that principle. That's reality too that's being judged. It's not just your physical actions, it's your thinking actions. Who can say that they've thought every thought flawlessly, impeccably? Nobody. We need to quit listening to this foolishness. It's just poor. It's poor hermeneutics. It's poor interpretation. And it's a poor knowledge of the heart, the spirit, and the love of the Almighty. Plain and simple. All right. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Did you enjoy yourself tonight? I'm going to put the giving opportunities at the bottom of the screen for those who want to give a donation and sow in love. But did you enjoy this tonight? I just sensed the leading. I said, I'm going to spend some time talking tonight. I'm going to answer any questions that they throw at me. And I tell you, y'all ask awesome questions. Did you enjoy yourself? Talk back to me. We got a few of us left on. Did you enjoy yourself tonight? Let's see here. We got so good. I got another yes. Anybody else? Did you learn something tonight? Did you glean something tonight? Did you learn something? Did you glean something? The questions were excellent questions, beginning with the first one from Poppy about a simulation. Ooh-wee. Oh my goodness, I love questions like that. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, yes, yes. We will most definitely do it again. I want y'all to be encouraged. And let me say this before I release you tonight. I want you to be encouraged to know that God, the Almighty, the Creator, the Source, and the Sustainer, loves you unconditionally. There's always grace, love, and forgiveness for every situation. And last but not least, I'm a firm believer that if you can believe, that all things are possible to them that believeth. So you're dealing with life. Sometimes it's hellish. Sometimes it's very difficult. But I want you to be mindful. Let me find that quote for you. I'm going to put it up on social media probably in the next couple of weeks. But let me find that quote. There's a quote that I want to share with you. Let me see where I put that. It might be on here. A very powerful and profound quote. See if I can find it in my notes. If I can't find it, I guess I'll bring it up in another time. The point I want to make is whatever it is you're thinking, whatever it is you're believing about anyone or about anything, it is your faith system that determines your reality. Okay? It is your faith system that is going to determine, it's your belief system that is going to determine your reality. All right? That's who it was from. It was from John Milton from Paradise Lost. Let me find that quote real quickly. It's a powerful quote. A mind not changed by place or time can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. End quote. I'm going to read it again. A mind not to be changed by place or time can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. Do you remember the Old Testament text? As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Align principles. So if you believe your life is heavenly, then you're going to tend to process and interpret things that happen to you through the scope of more positive experiences, more positive interpretations, more lighthearted, happy, encouraging things. But if you think your life is a hell, it don't matter how many tongues you speak in, how much time you get prayer, how much oil they slap on you, how much praying and meditation you do, and all these other wonderful spiritual practices, you're still going to believe you're in hell. So as you're focusing on a problem, if you believe you're defeated, unless the Almighty intervenes on what you are creating, then you're going to be defeated. The key is not to, just because you've been knocked down 1,000 times, to think that 1,001 has to be the same as the previous 1,000. The key is recognizing that as a creator, endorsed and given permission by the Almighty to, as he think in his heart, so is he. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. I can go on and on. You and I are thinking and speaking things that are happening into our lives. If I'm running into trouble and I keep saying that trouble follows me and trouble is my friend, and the only thing I know is trouble, and my life is just filled with trouble, and I'm just going to struggle with trouble for the rest of my life. Guess who you just gave permission to exist in your life? Trouble. Guess who and what's going to be a constant companion every time you turn around? Trouble. Guess what you're going to feel breathing down the nape of your neck almost every day of your life is trouble. And you know why? You put it there. Stop putting it on the devil. Stop putting it on other people. You put it there. The key to changing circumstances is to persistently believe in your heart what you know God desires for you, what you believe is the best for you, and don't let nobody change that but God. That's what I want to leave with you tonight. I want you to type in the comment section right now. Whatever I believe, I receive. Type that in the comment section. Whatever I believe, I receive. And when I say believe, I mean believe persistently and consistently. You're going to receive it. Type that in the comment section. Whatever I believe, I receive. Now, I want somebody to put up the Cash App. Type the Cash App in the comment section for me real quick. My Cash App. Type it in the comment section, and I'm going to release you if you want to give tonight. That's right. Whatever I believe, I receive. I just quoted multiple texts. Whatever I believe, if you believe it's going to turn around, it'll turn around for you. Yeah. You might not see that tomorrow in the physical. You might not see that next week in the physical. But you got to persist in that. You got to persist in that. You can't let nobody, as the old folks say, turn you around. They say, I ain't going to let nobody turn me around. You can't let nobody turn you around. Don't let nobody convince you of anything otherwise. When you believe, you receive. Thank you, Patricia Jackson. God bless you. Thank you for sewing tonight. I appreciate you. Love you so dearly. This is the Cash App you can use. There's another one, but you can use this one as well. Thank you for typing it. Are you ready? Are you ready to believe to receive? Are you ready to believe to receive? Somebody put the strong emoji in the comment section. Are you ready to believe to receive? Because if you're ready to believe to receive, hear me. I've had to try this. I'm living it now. I will continue to live it. I will continue to live it. I know the principles work. I have to persist in my faith. There are some days I don't want to. There's some days you don't feel like crawling out of bed. There's some days you don't feel like, I need to be strong and try again. No, that's the very day. You just need to keep pushing with your faith and keep knowing within your heart that this too shall pass. And when I believe, I receive. Remember, Yeshua said, Mark 11:24, what things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them. Guess what? And ye shall have them. I believe to receive. Let me put your strong emojis up. Thank you. Because that's who and what you are. You're powerful, you're strong, you're resolved, and you are an overcomer. I release you tonight. Love you so dearly. Thank you for staying with me. With the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, prosperity, nothing missing and nothing broken. Thank you so much for sewing. And I look forward to seeing some of y'all in a couple of days. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Enjoy your night, enjoy your day, enjoy your week. You are powerful. You are strong. You are blessed. Love you.